Hello, this is Warren at BMW Sports Car, and this is the E92 M3 Episode 1. So, we have a 2008 E92 M3 as part of our long-term test, and this is our first episode. So, we picked up our E92 M3 this week, and here's some of the specs. It's a 2008 E92 M3 in Melbourne Red. Melbourne Red was the red color for the E92 platform. The previous generation, the E46, had a Motor Red, and the generation before, which we love, and the generation before had E36 M3 had the Hellrat Red, which I also had a E36 M3 in Hellrat Red. So I love that too. To be honest, Melbourne Red, not my favorite red from BMW, but is growing on me. As more and more I look at it, the more and more I like it. As you see, the E92 M3 is a gorgeous car. It's almost a 10-year-old car. It came out in 2008 in the U.S. and it was sold from 2008 to 2012. So it's 9 years old, but it's aging gracefully. It's looking good for its age, and I think it's gonna be a classic design like the E46 M3 is. It's definitely more muscular in look. Very similar to the E46 M3. It doesn't have those big flared fenders like the E46 M3, and I think that's one of the reasons why the E46 M3 looks so good. This looks a little more bulkier compared to the standard 3 Series platform, but it still looks good. So the interior is bamboo, which is like a beige color, and it's matched with black and the carbon fiber trim. Now, personally, if I ordered the car brand new, this is not how I would have configured, but as you see in the pictures and real life, it actually looks really rich and inviting. This car also has the full leather package. So if you notice, besides having leather on the seats and everything, there's also certain areas of the car that will have leather, like in the center console. Personally, it wasn't a big option to have, but some people ordered it. As you can see, this is a 6-speed manual car. This generation came with the MDCT, which is the dual clutch transmission, which was incredible. It's great. I actually had a 2008, believe it or not, with the DCT, and that's a great transmission. But we wanted to kind of go old school, so we stuck with the 6-speed manual. And lastly, as you see, this has the older generation of the iDrive. Actually, they revamped, I believe, the iDrive in 2009 with the updated model. But my take on it in general, any of these sort of informational systems, after say 5 years, they all seem out of date. If you think about it, it's like having a smartphone. Look at your smartphone from 5 years ago and compare it to what you have now. You'll be amazed. You'll be like, wow, I can't believe I used that. And I think the problem today with all these new cars, like for instance, the new Range Rover has this dual touchscreen center console where it has really no buttons, and it looks fantastic. But I look at it and I say to myself, well, in 5 years, this thing is gonna look dated as heck. It's like it's gonna be slow as hell because again, anything that's CPU oriented is gonna lag over time, and it's just gonna be outdated in look and feel. So in this case, this has navigation. I personally probably won't even use it because I would just use my Google Maps on my iPhone or Waze. On the outside, the car looks great. As you can see, the details, some of the things that, and actually, I'll go into why we bought this particular model. So this car has 65,000 miles. But the reason why we like this car a lot was because of the seller. So again, we like to buy cars from private sellers because with a private seller, you could get a history of maintenance for the car. In this case, the private seller did a great job maintaining this car. Prime example, one of the biggest issues with the E92, E90 M3s was the rod bearings. Well, guess what? The previous seller last year got the rod bearings done. Not because there was any issue, but preventively, the owner just wanted it done. So it was a $3,000 job that now we don't have to worry about. It's already taken care of. Also, everything else in terms of oil changes and fluid changes, the car has new front brakes, rotors and pads. Everything was taken care of. So it's great to buy a car used that has a lot of these maintenance items taken care of. And when you buy it from a dealer, you don't get that. And I actually have a folder of records of knowing exactly when things were done. In terms of options or mods that this car comes with, as I mentioned before, it is it's a pretty standard car. It does have some springs. It has e-box springs, so it's a little bit lowered. The car also comes with some spacers. The 19-inch wheels have spacers in front and back, so you kind of see how at this angle it looks a lot flushed, and the wheels really fill out the wheel wells, which gives it a great look. And this also has a aftermarket exhaust. It's called the ACM or Auto Contour mod, which makes the exhaust sound very, very loud. Actually, it's probably a little bit too loud, and we may have to change it back because even at all speeds on the highway, for instance, it's still loud. But so far, we have it. Now, there's probably two options that we probably wouldn't have picked for the car if we bought it new, and one of them is that this car has a sunroof. Now, here's the tidbit: a carbon fiber roof was offered for the coupes in the E92 model range, and I would say majority of the E92 coupes, comes with the carbon fiber roof. It saves weight, and it's sort of one of those weird things where brand new, like a convertible, if you bought a convertible version of, like, say, this car, it costs more than the coupe. But then in resale, the coupe becomes more desirable, and then it's worth more. And sort of same thing with the sunroof. The sunroof is usually an option that costs more, but then in resale, especially for like an enthusiast car, people like a roof without a sunroof in it, or known as a slick top. So in this case, a lot of people would like the E92 with carbon fiber. So would I. But actually, so it's kind of funny. So in the beginning, I was like, it has the sunroof. But there was two things that kind of lessened my concern about it. One was I looked it up, and the weight savings were only talking about 40 pounds from a sunroof to a carbon fiber. At the end of the day, that's not a big deal to me. But number two, which actually made more sense to me, was that the carbon fiber roof on certain colors, like dark colors like blue and black and space gray, look fantastic. Absolutely dazzling. And then on other contrast colors like white, looks great. On Melbourne red, which I've seen pictures of carbon fiber roofs, it doesn't look as good. And actually, because this car has a sunroof, most of the roof is red. It's more seamless in look and aesthetics. And after looking at that, I said, you know what? Fine, I have a sunroof. The other option I wish we had with this car was heated seats. So we were in the Northeast. It's still kind of chilly, and starting up the car one morning, and my butt was cold, and I was like, let's put in the car seat, seat warmers. And unfortunately, I found out this car doesn't have any. So in the Northeast, you would want, seat warmers. Now, in terms of the rest of the car, the exterior, obviously, it has blackened grills. We're probably going to change the amber reflectors in the front as well. As you can see, the car just has the great features. The E92 actually really accentuate the features that's part of the BMW M design language, including like the bulge in the hood, the side grills, the hood vents, dual exhaust. In the interior, as I said, this car has the carbon fiber trim, which looks great. And overall, it's just a dazzling looking car. And when you start it up, it's amazing as well. So we're going to have a lot more videos that talk about day in, day out driving the car. We're going to talk about other functions of the car, etc. So, stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, learn more about the E92 M3. And in general, if you want to know more about BMW sports cars, come to www.bmwsportscar.com, and you'll learn more besides about M3s, other M's, and other wonderful cars that BMW has made. Thank you.